If World War III ever breaks out, where would you actually be safe? Today, we reveal the top 5 safest countries you could escape to if a global war erupts. These aren't guesses, they're based on geography, politics, military history, and survival infrastructure. We're talking about the ultimate hideouts, places so secure, so isolated, that even a global catastrophe might just pass them by. From mountain fortresses to remote islands, these locations offer the best chance of survival when the world is in chaos. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you'd want to be if the unthinkable happens. Let's get into it. Kicking off our list at number 5, we have Switzerland, the very definition of neutrality. For over 2 centuries, Switzerland has stayed out of global conflicts, and it's not by accident. Their neutrality is backed by serious firepower and preparation. The Alps form a natural fortress, making invasion nearly impossible. Every able-bodied male serves in the military and keeps their weapon at home, allowing for rapid mobilization. The Swiss have rigged bridges, tunnels, and roads with explosives, ready to seal the country off in hours. Beneath the mountains, there are enough nuclear fallout shelters for the entire population. These aren't just bunkers. They're underground towns, complete with hospitals and command centers. Switzerland's national redoubt strategy means the government and military could retreat and resist for years if invaded. The country is self-sufficient, with independent power, water, and air systems in these shelters. Politically, Switzerland avoids alliances like NATO and the EU, ensuring it's not automatically dragged into wars. Its landlocked position, surrounded by major European powers, acts as a buffer and makes naval invasion impossible. With few natural resources and no strategic value for invaders, Switzerland is more trouble than it's worth. The Swiss have turned neutrality into a survival strategy, making themselves a low-priority target. Their mountainous terrain, armed population, and extensive bunkers make them uniquely prepared. In a world at war, Switzerland is ready to defend itself, and disappear underground if needed. It's not just luck, it's decades of planning. If you want a place that's both prepared and determined to stay out of conflict, Switzerland is it. The country's entire system is built for survival. No wonder it's one of the safest places you could be. Neutral, fortified, and fiercely independent. Switzerland is a fortress in every sense. If you're looking for a place that's ready for anything, this is it. Switzerland isn't just hoping to survive, it's engineered for it. In a global crisis, it's the ultimate stronghold. That's why it makes our list. Switzerland, safe, secure, and always ready. Number 4 is New Zealand, a country so remote it's often left off world maps. In a global conflict, distance is your best friend, and New Zealand has plenty of it. Thousands of miles from any major hotspot, it's simply too far to be a strategic target. Invading New Zealand would require crossing vast oceans, an expensive, risky move for any military. That's why the world's elite have been buying land and building bunkers here for years. New Zealand is self-sufficient with fertile land, abundant fresh water, and a temperate climate. It produces more than enough food for its population and relies heavily on renewable energy. Its stable democracy and independent foreign policy mean it's unlikely to be dragged into someone else's war. While it's part of the Five Eyes alliance, New Zealand has a history of standing up for its own interests, like declaring itself nuclear-free. The country's rugged landscape and lack of land borders make it easy to defend and hard to invade. Surrounded by the Tasman Sea and Pacific Ocean, it's naturally protected. Its only neighbor is Australia, a close ally. In a world where supply chains collapse, New Zealand could cut itself off and survive. It's a modern, developed nation that could simply wait out the chaos. If you want a sanctuary at the end of the world, New Zealand is it. Remote, self-sufficient, and politically stable, it's the ultimate bug-out location. When the world goes mad, New Zealand is where you want to be. That's why it's on our list. Number 3 is Iceland, a land of glaciers, volcanoes, and surprising safety. Despite being a NATO member, Iceland's unique position makes it a low-priority target. It's an island in the North Atlantic, far from any major conflict zone, with no land borders. Iceland has no standing army, its defense is guaranteed by NATO, but in a global war, it's unlikely to be a focus. There's little strategic value in attacking Iceland, no military to destroy, no resources worth the effort. Its main Cold War asset, the Keflavik Air Base, is no longer a top priority. Iceland is a world leader in renewable energy. Almost all its electricity comes from geothermal and hydropower. This energy independence is a huge advantage if global supply chains collapse. The country is also largely self-sufficient in food, thanks to geothermal greenhouses and a massive fishing industry. Politically, Iceland is one of the world's most peaceful and stable nations. Its small, tight-knit population makes organizing defense and maintaining order much easier. The rugged volcanic terrain is a natural defense difficult to traverse and inhospitable to invaders. Any force landing on the coast would struggle to move inland. Iceland's isolation, energy independence and food security make it incredibly resilient. Its peaceful society and strong democracy add to its stability. In a world at war, Iceland is likely to be ignored, too remote, too tough, and not worth the trouble. It's a place where the global storm would likely pass by. If you want a safe haven with modern comforts, Iceland is a top choice. Rugged, independent, and peaceful Iceland is built to survive, that's why it's on our list. Number 2 is Bhutan, a tiny kingdom high in the Himalayas, and the ultimate isolationist paradise. Bhutan's greatest defense is its geography. Surrounded by the world's highest mountains, it's nearly impossible to invade. Landlocked between China and India, but not on any major trade or military route, Bhutan is a fortress by nature. Its isolation has kept it independent for centuries, never colonized, never conquered. Invading Bhutan would be a logistical nightmare. The terrain favors defenders. Politically, Bhutan practices strict neutrality and diplomatic isolation. It has few international ties and no alliances that would drag it into conflict. In a world war, it would be completely off the radar. Bhutan's philosophy of gross national happiness prioritizes stability, sustainability, and well-being over economic growth. The country is self-sufficient, with most people engaged in subsistence agriculture. Bhutan is a hydropower superpower exporting clean energy to India and maintaining energy independence. Modernization is tightly controlled, tourism is limited, and outside influence is minimal. This deliberate isolation keeps Bhutan stable and insulated from global shocks. The military is small, focused on border security and skilled in mountain warfare. But the real defense is the terrain. Any invasion would be costly and pointless. Bhutan has little strategic value and nothing to gain for an invader. In a global conflict, it would likely be ignored entirely. Bhutan's choice to remain different, happy, isolated, and sustainable makes it uniquely resilient. It's a hidden kingdom that the world would forget in a war, which is exactly what you want. If you seek peace in obscurity, Bhutan is the place. Remote, stable, and nearly untouchable, Bhutan is a survivalist's dream. That's why it's on our list. And now, the number 1 safest place on Earth if World War III breaks out, Antarctica. It's not a country but an entire continent, remote, inhospitable, and politically protected. The Antarctic Treaty System, signed in 1959, designates the continent as a scientific preserve and bans all military activity. No bases, no weapons, no fortifications, just science and peace. All major powers, including the US, Russia, and China, have agreed to keep it demilitarized. Even in a world war, violating the treaty would be a diplomatic disaster with no strategic gain. Antarctica's geography is the ultimate deterrent, the coldest, driest, highest continent, covered by a mile-thick sheet of ice. Temperatures plunge to deadly lows, and survival is a challenge even with modern technology. There's no native population, no cities, and no infrastructure to seize. Any military force would be defeated by the environment itself: frostbite, starvation, and isolation. The continent is surrounded by stormy seas and locked in by ice for much of the year. Getting there requires specialized equipment and expertise. In a global crisis, supply lines would vanish, making life even harder. But that's what makes it safe. No one will fight over a frozen wasteland. The only residents are scientists from around the world working together in peace. Antarctica is a model of international cooperation, untouched by war. If you could get there with enough supplies, you'd be in the one place almost guaranteed to be ignored. It's not practical for most, but on paper it's untouchable. The treaty, the deadly environment, and its lack of value make Antarctica the ultimate safe haven. In a world at war, it's the one place the conflict won't reach. The world's freezer, cold, empty, and peaceful. If you want absolute safety, this is it, Antarctica, the last refuge from war. That's why it tops our list. So there you have it. 5 places you could run to if World War III ever broke out. From Switzerland's mountains to Bhutan's hidden kingdom, New Zealand's remoteness, Iceland's resilience, and Antarctica's icy peace, each offers a unique sanctuary. Bonus mention, Chile, with the Andes and Pacific as natural barriers, is another strong contender. Let's hope we never need this list. Which country would you choose? Comment below with your strategy. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves geography and survival. Thanks for watching. Stay safe wherever you are.